Hello everyone, Joe Show to one here. I'm back with another exciting Casio video. So today in this video we're gonna be talking about every evolution. Does it need a buff or needs a nerf? I decided to have this video out because I feel it is pretty reasonable since we have now some evolutions that it needs a buff because they're not been doing basically really good, or not a lot of people been using it, and then other card then basically needs a nerf because you're doing absolutely really great. So you could have I could have made different videos for each one of them, but instead of doing that I decided to basically just talk about every evolutions like that. And don't worry about evolutions for a while because this is probably going to be my last one until basically the new one comes out sooner or later, which hopefully they actually do balance it pretty well. So sorry about that. Okay, make sure to leave a like, subscribe. Let's do this. So I feel like the first thing we should talk about is the weakest evolution, which is the Ice Spirit. Okay, as much I would love to say the Ice Spirit is pretty good, I feel like does it need a nerf or needs a buff? And honestly, in my opinion, I feel like it needs a buff. Matter of fact, reason why, most importantly, I don't think it gives it much value for, well, for one elixir. Of course, with the evolution and basically everything else, the cycle, people thought, well, in the beginning it was 3 cycles, then it turned to 2, and then basically now this is where it is now. But I don't think it makes a huge difference. I think what they should have do, or basically should have done for the Ice Spirit, is to give it a buff, and the buff should be making the radius a bit bigger. I feel like it should not be that big, but it should be enough so where basically it could freeze. I don't know. How big is the radius? I think it's about like 2 tiles, 2 by 2. So maybe like 2.5 or a bit more than that. Just enough so it can, touch troops that are really close to each other. I think that's pretty reasonable. And but honestly, I think that will make the Ice Spirit way more efficient, way more better. I think it would give a better value for it because yes, you could have said like the Ice Spirit is already good for just basically one elixir, but to order to make the Ice Spirit evolution better, but prove that like basically it would give you great value. I feel like that'd be the best way to make the radius actually a bit better for that. And honestly, I like that because I think that will make the card even more efficient. I feel like the second one will probably be like the second weakest one, other than everything else, is probably Valkyrie. As much I would like to say Valkyrie sounds really good in general, the problem about the Valkyrie evolution, it doesn't have anything like a HP buff or a damage increase. The only thing it does have is an ability. It doesn't even kill bats with it. Basically, how can I say, the tornado? It doesn't kill bats, so you could definitely would say it's basically just weak in general. And even if you do use the evolution, obviously it doesn't give you the best value because it's basically just a Valkyrie, just more chance of like basically damage herself. Because if you first do with someone with a Barbarians evolution, she's basically going to lose because the Barbarians, remember, every time it per hit, it boosts his attack, and honestly, it's like you don't want that to happen. So I would have to say Valkyrie needs a buff, and as much I would like to say like a HP buff would be better. It's just like I already talk about this with every other evolutions. Evolution do not need a HP buff because it just breaks the game like that. But I feel like making the Valkyrie have basically more HP will make the card more pretty reasonable. And at the same time, again, it's for 2 cycles. You want to make sure the great value. And I feel like even with the tornado, with the HP buff, it would definitely make the card even more efficient. Maybe like a faster attack speed, but I just think that if she get actually more HP, then the card, or at least the evolution of her, would definitely be way more better. And I don't think people will probably pick her more often. And that's in my opinion. I'm telling you, this one's difficult, but I had to pick Royal Giant. Honestly, reason why I picked Royal Giant, basically like the top, well, not top three, but like bottom three of like the worst evolutions, is just because people know how to basically counter Royal Giant now. Remember, it doesn't have the 30% increase of HP anymore. They nerfed that basically twice. You only have a basically increase of like, depending on like 200 to around like, I think it's around like 500 HP, which, over time it does get more and more. But like, I don't know, it's pretty difficult because the recoil damage used to be basically one of the best, like, aspect for the Royal Giant evolution. But as much I would say the card is great, I think it needs a buff. And honestly, I feel like to make the card more better, but at the same time still like, easy to defend, is to add a bit more damage for the recoil. Now, of course, I can't really say like how much it is because I'm not gonna do like math right now, but I feel like a pretty reasonable, if we do 10% increase of the recoil damage, I think that will make basically every stomp really crazy. But the only time you can actually do it, again, of course, every time he does attack, he does more damage, basically like that, but only for the recoil damage. So you know that you gotta be worried every time you do versus, every his stomp. So like, because his stomp would do massive damage. Now maybe like with that increase, actual benefits him now because a lot of people use him more. Again, he's one of the first evolution, but he been basically nerfed and nerfed for so much time that I would like to say that he's basically the bottom three. And I know it's difficult to say it like that, but I just think overall he doesn't give the best value for, just basically for a cost. So I feel like increased damage of the recoil damage is definitely pretty reasonable, and I think this will help it. Honestly, I feel like pretty reasonable. I'm talking the evolution by itself. I'm not talking about like two evolutions, because if we're talking about evolutions with two, the Mortar would have been way higher. But I'm talking basically evolutions just by themselves, how benefit they do, what can they do, are they really good offense and defense, and overall what kind of decks they use. So I feel like this is where everything goes differently, because you could have said, Mortar evolution could be really good because, second evolution, but I'm counting evolution as basically one. So just you guys do notice, okay? Again, I will put Mortar evolution higher if we was counting second evolution too. That's just in my opinion, okay? So Mortar evolution, I feel like it needs a buff, and the reason why I would say it's just because it's really difficult to connect with a Mortar. Even with the Mortar evolution, yes, it does have a faster attack speed, and basically does have, it's the same damage, and you do get goblins, and you do get hit points, but I just feel like every time I first is Mortar evolution, I always beat it. Because I don't know. I just don't think it gives a great, like, I think the HP is bad. And I know that sounds a bit weird, but like the HP, I don't think it have like good HP. And I know it's pretty difficult to say it like that because like, I wish I could say it's a bit better. And honestly, it hurts me to put it this low. But at the same time, there's other cards that are just way better than the Mortar evolution, and I just feel like putting the Mortar right here is better. So like I feel like the best way to do and like to make the Mortar better is to increase the HP by about 5%, because now it will have even more HP. I know this is difficult, but I feel like doing this will make the Mortar last longer, and at the same time it'll be better. But of course, with basically everything else, I feel like this is actually pretty reasonable. Just a 5% increase, that's all. So I'm wanna guess that's about 50 to like 150 HP points more. It could be different between, levels. It could be only like 10, or it could be like legit like another 150 by level 15. But I feel like this is actually pretty good. It's not too much, but it's not too little. I think for 5% increase for like HP, it's just better in general. So I think that makes it better. I'll probably change the hit speed, honestly, in my opinion, to change it back to 5 seconds. But I say a buff or a nerf. I did not say a rework. So I think that's okay, honestly. Yeah, man, it's difficult because I want to say a nerf, but I can't give a nerf to a Mortar because I don't see Mortar a lot, and when people use Mortar, I really just counter it. Like, I don't remember the last time I lost against a Mortar evolution. I don't remember. But I do want to say that I think with that buff, it will make the card more better. I think it will use value for just give better value, but at the same time, I think it will give it better defense right there, and I think that will make the card good. Bats evolutions. Okay. For 2 elixir, basically, for Bats evolution, it heals itself basically. I want to say, and I was thinking about this long and hard enough, because I feel like Bats evolution, it could be legit a hit or miss. It could be the best thing you ever get, and then the worst thing. I feel like it needs a nerf, and the reason why I would say it needs a nerf is because Bats got buffed like 2 times in a row, okay? And their head speed the first hit went to 0.5 seconds. I think went to 0.125. I think something like that second. That's almost immediately just another heal. And god dang it, I can't even see that. Like, when it hits a giant. Dude, that's fast. Dude, that first hit is so fast. Yeah, that first hit is so fast. That's almost automatically right there. And, dude, it's just like, okay, it's hard to do Bats evolution because I already explained this. But, like, I just think it needs an HP nerf. Honestly, it should be the exact same thing as the damage. 108. It should be the exact same thing. 108. It should not be 162. I feel like to make it balanced enough, it should be exactly 108. And the reason why is because it's the same thing as Bats. It's basically a normal Bats, but you still have a longer increase of HP. Remember, the max hit points, it goes to 324. More hit points than minions, or basically 2 elixir. So just you guys do notice. But I feel like this actually will make the card more balanced, but at the same time, it's not so OP, and a lot of people won't use it that much. Because I've been seeing Bats evolution lately. I'm more surprised. I'm fine with it, but I feel like with this nerf, it just will make the card more balanced. And honestly, I'm okay with this because I still think the card will be so good, dude. Basically, that 0.125 is still crazy. Like, even me explaining it, you saw it already there. It's legit that fast. Like, that's how fast it is. That's fast. Like, the reaction time to order to get that is super rare. If only you have arrows, then, it makes sense. But, like, if you have a zap or a range, it doesn't make any difference. This is basically a waste of 2 elixir right there. So, doing that actually will make the card better. I think overall, I'm fine with it. I'm completely fine with it. Yep. Firecracker. Firecracker. Ugh. I tell you this. I hate Firecracker, and it sucks that I will be getting this one soon. But like, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's so annoying. It really is. Because I talk about this so much, it just bugs me. It really does. I'm gonna say it. Firecracker needs a nerf. I don't care what anybody say. It should be exact same HP. Okay. The reason why is because here's the point. Again, for basically almost everything, Firecracker. I know I buff some cards with like. I know I talk about the Valkyrie and I talk about the bats needing basically a buff and a nerf, and then I talk about other cards that do need a buff and a nerf, and then Mortar that needs a buff for an HP. But I feel like Firecracker with a nerf of the HP, exactly same thing, it will still make the card strong. I don't get why they decided to make it error resistant. It doesn't make sense. Is one of these cards, yeah, you could say it's very annoying, but at the same time, the only reason why a lot of people say it's very annoying is because they bring arrows. Okay, just use Royal Delivery. That's all I'm asking. Just use Royal Delivery. It's legit one of the best spells right there to counter the Firecracker. It doesn't matter how level is your Firecracker. Boom, you still get one shot with the Royal Delivery. It's basically a 3 elixir fireball. Just you can't put it basically everything else. But it's still good in my opinion. With this nerf of the HP, I still think it's pretty good. Just in my opinion, I just don't get why like they haven't done that yet. It's really annoying how you could put in basically almost at the bridge. You place something in front of it, it does massive damage, quote unquote, bomber evolution. But I just want to say, I feel like with that, it would make the Firecracker still good, but again, still dies from arrows. That's all I want to say. It needs a nerf, just in my opinion. So, Barbarians evolution. Oh man, this is difficult to talk. Okay, Barbarians evolution. I love Barbarians. Okay, they're really great. Barbarians evolution is even better. But for 5 elixir, 1 cycle. Honestly, in my opinion, it needs a nerf. I know it's hard to say it like that. I know it's been basically nerfed lately, and they nerfed it like 2 times in a row, but I just think it needs another nerf. I feel like changing the boost to basically 1.5 seconds would make it just less deadly in general. It's not a lot if you think about it, but at the same time, it does make a huge difference over time. I'm just saying. I feel like 1.5 seconds on the boost duration is just makes it. I was thinking 1 second, but I think 1 second was a bit too much. So I feel like 1.5 seconds was pretty reasonable. My second thing to talk about was the boost. But I think if I'm just going to talk about one thing to nerf, nerf the boost duration to 1.5 seconds. But I had to say, it would still make the Barbarians really great. I would still say, I love the Barbarians, I really do. But like, ooh, it's just really difficult to talk about it. Because I feel like Barbarians, again, it's like the bats, it's hit or miss. But like, if you got the great deck, then honestly, you could basically just win, honestly, in my opinion. Oh, this one's gonna be fun. I don't want to talk about it. Dude, this one's difficult, really. Because here's the point. I think Warrior Crew's is basically the exact same thing as the Barbarians. It got nerfed, like, bad. Like, it's difficult. I think Royal Recruits needs a nerf too. Mainly just because I feel like they haven't nerfed the charge damage lately. I don't think they nerfed the charge. But I feel like if they nerf the charge damage, it would make the card pretty reasonable. I remember in the first beginning when when Royal Recruits evolution first, or basically RR evolution first came out, I would really want to say that it was definitely really powerful. But as of right now, since basically everything like balance and nerfs, I still think the Royal Recruits needs a nerf just because their charge damage does a lot. And that charge is not just one, it's two. But I feel like nerfing it by like 10% is pretty reasonable. If I was gonna give a second nerf, I would nerf it by doesn't charge faster. Because it charged fast. Like I think I talked about this when it first came out. It charged like only 1.5 tiles. So I feel like charging it with like about 3 tiles is actually pretty reasonable. Just in my opinion, because again, Royal Recruit is still great. But like I feel like this is actually pretty good. The charge would not be that bad. It would just be less deadly, but like minus 10% would definitely still make the card really great. I know I was gonna thinking on like, you know, the tiles, but I feel like the charge damage makes more of a difference than the charge tiles. When, you know, it does charge because it charged faster than a Prince and Dark Prince. Because it takes about like 1.5 seconds, basically almost 1.5 tiles, or basically like 2 tiles. I think it's 2 tiles actually. But I think with this, it would make the card still great, in my opinion. Well, yeah. Skeleton's evolution needs a nerf. Oh man, I don't want to say it like that. Well, it needs a nerf. I think the first hit, because they did buff it. They buffed the first hit 0. I think it was 0.3 seconds, if I remember, or 0.4 seconds. They should make it to 0.5 seconds, because I feel like with this nerf, or basically buff, it makes the card even better. And honestly, again, we're counting like with 1 evolution or 2 evolution. Skeleton evolution is great overall. I just think like that nerf, or basically that first hit, makes a huge difference, because that first hit makes so much of a difference for skeletons than other cards. Other cards, they have like HP, they have basically like increase of damage, or like a new ability. Literally, skeleton evolutions is not like that. It's literally the first hit. If their first hit makes a difference, it makes a huge difference right there. But making it 0.5 seconds, or basically, I want to say is around like minus 66%. This is just in my guess, but I think that will make the card actually better. Well, still good. I'm still good. Okay, not like that, but I still think it would make it good. Okay, Archer's evolution. It needs a nerf, but I still think it's pretty good. Okay, so changing the range to 5.5 tiles, okay? Or basically 5 on the range. Or, wait, 5.5, there you go. Because, you know, in the normal archers, it's 5 on the range. But I feel like making a 5.5, it will not, you will not see it basically just do what it do already. Like, you know, take out the basically inferno tower like that. I feel like it had to get a bit more closer to order to start doing damage. But I still think it's a... Man, I keep saying I still think it's a great card and all that. Like, bro, it's just like... I don't want to say so bad, because some of these cards, they do need a buff, while some card needs a nerf. But, like, Archer's Evolution, I feel like this was... It just makes it a change. And, like, making it a change basically 5.5... on the range, which is, it would just be more balanced. And I would like to see more cards balanced, not overpowered, because that's not going to make the game fun. Okay, if I don't want to say it. I think the 9 needs a buff, honestly. Look, okay, I'm going to make it fast and simple. It needs a buff at the hit speed, okay? The hit speed should be 1 second. That's all I want to say. 1 second. No questions. I'm not going to say why. Maybe a bit. I just think it's not good anymore. I know that sounds weird, me saying it, because I usually use it most of the time. I don't think Knight is good anymore. Which a lot of people have been putting it basically S tier, well, A to S tier, literally top 3. I don't see Knight as top 3. I will say Archer's Evolution is better than Knight Evolution. In my opinion. I don't think Knight's is good. I think it's top 4. Really, I think it's top 4. I feel like it needs a buff on a hit speed to make it 1 second. Okay? 0.1 second less. That's all. Not too much, not too little. Okay, I already talked about this, but I want to talk crap to it. Wahlburgers Evolution needs a nerf. Damage, it should be exact same area damage. It should not have a buff on the damage. There's one thing I would definitely will say it needs a nerf. Either nerf the damage or nerf the runner to get one shot. Okay, that's 2. I'm giving it 2 for special. So nerf the damage, exactly same damage. 570, 570, because that's mine. Or that's, yeah. Wait, can I put tournament standard? Oh, I can't put tournament standard. Okay, tournament standard, 392. 587. It should be exact same thing as the area damage, basically. Because I feel like that would make the card was like more balanced. I always say balance, but I just think this is too OP, in my opinion. That's all. Too OP. Boom. That's all. If you want to nerf the runner, make a one shot. That's all. That's all I want to say. Good. Okay, Barbarians Evolution. Oh. Basically, as of right now, the best evolution. I would nerf. Ooh, this one's difficult. Either I had to pick one. Okay, I can't basically just pick 2 and. Well, I did that for Wahlburgers. Yeah, this is my video. I'll nerf the thing if I want to. I'll make the cycle 2. Yeah, Barbarian Evolution cycle will be 2, and then the range of it, like the bomb range, it does not go to 11.5 tiles. It go to 9 tiles. Boom. Make the card easy. That's all I want to say. I talk crap to it every time. Every time I sees it, it annoys me how people have it. Hey, I'm just saying, as of right now, I've been doing really good countering Wahlburgers Evolution and Bomber Evolution. So I'm just saying. You guys gotta have to step it up real quick. Someone made a comment. It was like, I'm like Austin CR. I'm not, but I will tell you this. I do like his gameplay. I definitely do like his gameplay. I think it's real funny. It just reminds me so much. That's every evolution, buff or nerf. Honestly, if you like this video, then leave a like, subscribe. This video is too long, but I just think it's funny. Basically talking crap to like every evolution. Yeah, it's funny. But at the same time, it's creative too. I see you guys next time. You guys the best. So yeah.